Hey all, Glenn Kirschner here. Please enjoy this video on the Political Voices Network.
Isn't this something? Somebody said this is like letting Bin Laden go visit the World Trade Center.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally is visiting the crime scene for the first time, and he gets just nothing but applause and sucking up from the people that he sent a mob to attack. You can't write it anymore, can you?
Yeah, but his day's coming. 34 felony convictions, and he's got more trials in the chute. And yeah, it's been bumpy getting him to trial, but we're going to get him to trial in all of those cases. I maintain, and we'll probably talk about the New York sentencing coming up, that Judge Merchan understands that he's got to sentence him to prison, and we can talk about why that is. So, we're getting there slowly but surely, better late than never, but we're getting there.
It's just one story is more stunning than the next, right? After he was found guilty on these 34 counts, he called Mike Johnson to insist we have to overturn this. He was still angry when he made the call, dropping frequent F-bombs. The speaker didn't need to be convinced, but he's already finding it difficult to deliver for Trump. I just have never seen this, right? The dragging Alvin Bragg before Congress. Just go ahead.
Yeah, you usually don't see obstruction of justice in the harsh light of day. Usually people try to, keep shielded from public view when they're trying to undermine the criminal justice system, obstruct justice. But Donald Trump does it in the open. If it were me and I was the district attorney in Manhattan, I would probably open a grand jury investigation and begin presenting evidence to see whether Donald Trump is obstructing justice in violation of New York state law, because he's actively using members of Congress to try to undermine a lawfully entered criminal conviction. That has the smell of obstructing justice. But the only way to know if he's violating New York state law is to open a grand jury investigation and present evidence.
Yeah. It's just, I think we're getting so numb to the, different, there's different rules for him. He admitted to New York officials he's not surrendered a gun he possesses in Florida. It's, as you know, a federal crime for someone convicted of a felony to possess a firearm. The New York City Police Department has now notified police in Florida and asked them to take appropriate action. Oh, God, I hope he makes a run for it. I hope it's like a scene out of Cops. I hope they play Bad Boys. I mean, it's just, again, different rules, right? I don't know what the process is for that, but why do you get to have his attorney with him for the Zoom probation hearing?
Yeah, because the rules don't apply to Donald Trump the way they apply to everybody else. And Steph, that's how we find ourselves here. If they applied to Donald Trump, he would have been arrested and indicted the moment he left office. And we have let that frog boil, and now it feels like there's no turning back. And that is hopefully a lesson we will learn when this sad chapter is in our rearview mirror, how we have to aggressively but honestly apply the laws against everybody, or else we're going to destroy our democracy. We're going to find ourselves precisely where we are again.
Yeah, gun laws only applied to Hunter Biden, apparently.
Yeah.
You tweeted Hunter Biden's conviction puts a final nail in the coffin of Trump's absurd claim that he's being politically persecuted. It also defeats and debunks Jim Jordan's incessant yammering about the DOJ being weaponized against Republicans. But of course, they didn't take a pause. They already had the script ready, right? They were like, rigged jury in Delaware, he's going to get off, and two systems. And then when that didn't work, now they're like, oh, well, they didn't get to the real Biden crime-friendly crimes or whatever, right? It's not based on anything.
Yeah, and I think people see that. Even some of the Trump supporters, I mean, they begin to peel away over time. We've seen some of that even in the polls. It was, I think, a Fox poll, or reported by Fox, that when Trump supporters were asked, if he ends up a convicted felon, will you continue to support him? 20% of the Trump supporters, according to the poll, said no. So, couple that with the Nikki Haley voters. I mean, I remain at ease that Joe Biden is going to win in November in a landslide, though I'm not complacent. We're going to fight every minute of every day until the election. But, because and let me tell you why an attorney wants to be present at a probation hearing. Because if Donald Trump started answering questions from the probation officer who was authoring the pre-sentence report, he would be incriminating himself, at every turn. So the good news is he probably didn't answer much. and that will work against him come sentencing time.
Yeah. You made a good point. You often make points I don't see anyone else make, and that's why you're the best. You just said, in terms of why he needs to be incarcerated, you said, these were crimes designed to gain unfair advantage in an American election, but you also said to deter others who would choose to follow Trump's criminal path. I mean, what's to stop every politician from using this blueprint if there's no...
Steph, can you imagine if he gets probation, which means no punishment at all? What is the lesson other aspiring criminal politicians will take away? Okay, wait a minute. You mean I can fundraise off of my indictment, my conviction, and my sentence to probation, and I can step out into the hallway on every court break and basically get free airtime. I would otherwise have to pay for campaign ads. The media will blast it out on a endless loop, and I'll get probation at the end of the day. I won't be punished at all. I would think criminal politicians will be like, where do I sign up? I wasn't going to commit crimes to try to steal an election, but if that is the blueprint I can follow, for me, it's win, win, win. Where do I sign up?
Yeah. And we were talking, Glenn, about how, you're talking about crime in Milwaukee when we were saying the felon count is going to go way up when he gets there and all his felon friends at the RNC. Otherwise, the crime rate there, like everywhere in America, is down under Joe Biden. Okay, here's the good news. Glenn's going to join us in Denver next Saturday. And we're working on other surprises for that one. But oh my God, Glenn, we're always so grateful. People are so excited that you're coming to Denver. We'll rent a pedal boat on the bay, you and I, during the day.
Can't wait to see you guys.
All
Can't
right,
wait. I'm going to get a mile high if that's appropriate.
Yes!
SexyLiberal.com. Love you, Glenn.
Hey all, Glenn Kirschner here. I hope you'll join me on my new audio podcast, Justice Matters. I'll be using my 30 years as a federal prosecutor and Army JAG to unpack, break down, and explain the legal issues of the day, particularly where the legal intersects with the political. Please look for Justice Matters with Glenn Kirschner wherever you generally get your podcasts.